I wanted to take some time to dig into the more underrated moves, the less heralded moves, the ones that maybe didn't get as much pub, but were more middle of the pack. What was your first most underrated free agency move?
It comes from the Las Vegas Raiders, who have absolutely floored me from their free agency operations. It's not the Jalen Naylor, which is a good play. It's not the Kwity Paye, which I think will pay off. Put me down behind a barn. It is the addition, the slash addition of Quay Walker and Nakobe Dean for their linebacker core. Every time last year, it could be going to either of them, I'm giving it to both of them. Every time last year when we started diving in on the Raiders and why they were so awful, and we took a look at their depth chart, we looked at their defense, and it was bad, all three levels. There was no signature level. There was no player that I was looking at like, oh, man, maybe outside of Max Crosby, but still, even at that point, it was pretty disappointing. So the fact that they're adding so many starters that can just go in there, take a job, win it, and go contribute, massive. They added like 5 starters in day one of free agency. I expect that they'll add maybe one more, just given how exorbitantly they've been spending. But yeah, Quay Walker, stud. Nakobe Dean, stud. It feels like those teams just couldn't. Oh, you're not up?
I'm not.
I like both of them.
I'm good with the praising them for the decisions to go and get them and to spend the money and to be aggressive instead of kind of just sitting on their hands and watching all the cars pass by on the side of the road. They're actually getting in on the race. Mm-hmm. But to like just establish and go Quay Walker stud, Nakobe Dean stud. I think they're good starters, and I think it's money that you have to spend. Here's the one thing that makes me intrigued. Mm-hmm. I will say this: you're repairing 2 guys that played alongside one another, and I would argue their best performances came when they were both playing next to one another. They've had highs and lows. They've had ups and downs. Nakobe Dean's been inconsistently available because of health stuff. But I think that the main takeaway with this is that you're bolstering a defense that really just was barren. You got rid of Max Crosby. Who the heck is your like next best player that you feel is such a secure, big-time playmaker?
They didn't have one. They really didn't. It was Max Crosby and then a Mariana's Trench-sized gap to the next best player. And I got rid of Crosby, which I'm starting to warm up on, by the way. I just am. Given the Baltimore Ravens fans' reactions to him, I'm starting to warm up, even though I'm sure Crosby's got 20 more sacks.
Wait, what do you mean by that?
They're too excited. Baltimore Ravens fans are too
excited.
Why
are they too excited?
Because they see themselves in Max Crosby with the neck tattoos and like the attitude era defensive. Like he reminds me of like an 04 wrestler, and that's where a lot of people in Baltimore are emotionally stunted at. So
that's crazy.
I'm telling you. So they're seeing a lot of that in him, and he's going to be the biggest guy in Baltimore. But the Raiders needed to get a new look, and I think getting 2 still very young linebackers that are popping with athleticism, surging with athleticism was a very good move.
Surging with athleticism is what's going to be on my tombstone.
Oh yeah, he surged with that athleticism poured out of him.
But I will say though,
until he slipped and fell.
Yeah, exactly. That's probably how I'm going to go down. And just pulling up the Raiders depth chart. Even if we didn't have any of the free agents that they signed, it would be such a barren defense. God, Max Crosby was doing a whole lot of work.
I'm telling you, man.
Team relevant.
Every time we'd be talking about the Raiders, it'd be like, okay, fine. You go to the offense. All right, Brock Bowers, Genty, maybe bring up Jackson Powers Johnson, mm-hmm. and then you get to the defensive side of the ball. You're like, what the heck? How did this even happen to a football team? How does a football team even get to this point? It's like letting yourself atrophy. Like you see these people that they do like TLC documentaries on where it's like 45 minutes hermit home, and it's a person that just hasn't left their house in 20 years and they're stuck to their couch. And it's like, how did you get to this point, man? What happened? You used to be someone that could walk, and now you can't. And now they're trying to learn how to walk again.
Well, they sprung out off the couch, and now they're sprinting. Hopefully the sprint pays off. My only one thing,
I feel like sprint. You're right about the sprint.
I feel like it's easy to praise the Raiders for, again, showing aggressiveness. I just have the slight inkling of a fear of this crashing and burning. Because sometimes if you go a little too quick on the rebuild, and you're like, we're going to go and get all of these names, all of these guys, because we have all this money to spend, you're banking on and hoping that they produce, and There's an early gelling. There's early chemistry. There's going to be a lot of lifting required by all these guys, especially that linebacker room, especially Kwity Paye. I mean, you can't trot out Tyree Wilson as one of your starting defensive ends again this year. You got to
Tyree.
He's never been good.
Oh, no.
Tyree Wilson has literally never been good. He's
4 sacks last year.
He's been one of the most unimpactful early first-round picks. He's less impactful than Cleveland Farrell was.
Oh, no way. Come on. Cleveland was okay.
I almost said Colin Farrell.
I'd like to see Colin Farrell strap it up.
We suit him up.
You know what? It kind of reminds me of, remember when the Patriots for like the first time ever decided to go in on free agency and they gave Trent Brown a mega contract and they're like, oh, Bill Belichick has never been like they've never filled in so many spots or given out so much money in free agency, and they still kind of suck the next year. I think it's going to kind of look like that with the Raiders. But even if they kind of suck next year, it'll still be a tremendous leap from how tragic they were this season.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like a good comp maybe from – I don't even think there is a good comp. My one first underrated signing that I really was impressed with, it was one of these ones that I almost didn't even register it happened. Devin Lloyd signing a 3-year, $45 million deal with the Panthers. One of the big things that I've talked about with the draft and their needs – is them taking a middle linebacker early. I think that there was a hope that they maybe could get Sonny Styles, probably out of possibility now because of the momentum that he's built since the NFL Combine. They have a lot of pieces. They've got a lot of pieces across the board. And one of the most impactful things that you can do is plug in a quality, athletic middle linebacker. I think that Devin Lloyd, albeit the start to his career wasn't great, started to show why he got picked as early as he did by the Jaguars. And this is the right timing, I think, to tap into that. I don't think it should completely remove the possibility of them selecting a CJ Allen, theoretically, but it allows for them to kind of look at the board when the draft starts and go in any direction that they want. They have one of the more complete rosters for a team that you wouldn't think would. They're doing pretty well at a lot of key positions. And this goes in tandem with, this isn't an underrated sign because it was one of the biggest. Jalen Phillips was the right move that they needed to make because, again, another conversation with their draft outlook was, well, where they sit in the middle of the first round to the end of the first round, they can't get one of the premier pass rushers. So they're drafting another designated pass rusher, another second rusher, not a primary guy. Well, Jalen Phillips might not have been the most sack productive guy. He's one of the most productive pressure producing guys. So that's going to set everybody else to succeed. I know you hate the word. The guys who generate pressures help others produce sacks.
I know it matters. If
Nick Scourton this year or Princely Umamielen randomly puts up 10 sacks, I wouldn't be shocked. Yeah, I'd be like, oh, yeah, that's totally plausible.
They're building a legitimate defense, and the Devin Lloyd signing, it reminds me of, I know you do your golf trips. Do you play best ball with your buddies ever? Like, yeah. Mm-hmm. It reminds me of like the Jalen Phillips signing is your buddy that just hits the fairway. Get it in the fairway, and we'll have a ball that we can play, and it's a good drive. And then you have somebody come up and just absolutely hit a rocket because they already achieved the fairway shot. Now I can take a big swing. That's what Devin Lloyd felt like to me. And adding him to that defense is, wow, well, we had a fairway play, and now we can see the pin. And we are ready to really play, and we're going to chip on. We're going to have a good team. It's looking like a pretty full team. And it's surprising that Carolina, with a lot of underrated signings, I'd say, has put together a really good defense that is scary. I tweeted out that they're trying to Eagles this thing, which is mid-quarterback and great defense. And it's starting to look like it.
Crazy shot.
It is. Hey, come on.
Unnecessary.
Come on. I mean, the defensive backfield is great. The linebackers just got right. You draft a pass rusher, or you get a big step up this year from Scourton or Umamielen. Way to go.
Look at you.
Then we're looking at a legitimate, maybe Eagles 2.0. Now, Chuba Hubbard is not Saquon, and neither is Jonathan Brooks or Trevor Etienne. But you can see the vision. Additionally, it helps that they had a really productive year from their rookie last year, Tedero McMillan, offensive rookie of the year. Like it's a team that is trending upwards, which is irritating for someone who has a team, another team.
Your
in the
team
NFC
is trending
South.
Backwards.
Oh, what do you mean? You're not inspired by
Tua.
Olamide and Austin Hooper? What about
who else did the Falcons?
How about new wide receiver 2, Jahan Dotson? Don't make that face, man. Come on.
I forgot that. I forgot all of yesterday and today. Every single time I was like, oh, I wonder where this slappy went. And then I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, all right. He signed with Atlanta. You're moving like the Giants would, by the way. This is some shit that the Giants would have done in 2016. This is some Dave Gettleman roster building with the Falcons.
I think Matt Ryan's taking some lumps here in his first free agency.
Well, but he's not the one making these decisions.
He's the president of football. The GM reports to him. Everybody reports to Matt Ryan. He is the president of football.
I don't know why the framing, the president of football makes me laugh because it just makes it seem
crazy.
Like job. No, but it is that his actual title?
Yes, president of
football operations, or
president of football. Which honestly, if I had a job that I ever wanted to do when I was 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, or currently, it would be president of football.
Yeah, he's president of football.
I told you, man. It's a crazy ass job that they got going in Atlanta, man. Everybody reports.
Is that a comment? Because normally you hear president of football operations. You don't hear president. Am I crazy?
It's just football. There's no operations. I'm sure there are operations.
No, but am I being stupid and misremembering how other teams?
No. Other teams are president of football operations, and that is how it is. But no. Atlanta decided
president of football.
President of football.
I'm going to pitch my second underrated signing, and I think it actually ties to. Actually, I don't love your pick for your other underrated signing.
A lot of people won't. That's why it's underrated.
No, I think that's just incorrect. I think that you're misunderstanding. Is that how you go?
Do I
need
to take you to dictionary school?
Is that how you go? Is that how you go through life?
Mr. Webster, would you step in? Mr. Merriam-Webster, would you please sit down and explain underrated to my co-host, please?
Underrated means it's not getting a lot of hype. You're going with poorly rated.
It's not getting a lot of hype. And you just,
I get
run the tape. Jamie, run the tape back, man.
I get it now. As someone like you who goes through life constantly being wrong, you're 5 and 10, by the way, on college basketball picks. I would just like to take a quick moment to point that out. You went 0-3 on your picks this past weekend. As somebody who's constantly wrong,
that can't be possible.
It's clocking now because you're just going around thinking, man, my choices and my takes are so underrated. They're all my picks. They're so underrated. You're just wrong. There's a difference between the two.
I cannot believe I went 0-3. That's crazy.
Yeah, you went 0-3. You did mega shit. You mushed the Eastern Michigan pick. My underrated pick, though, I really like Elijah Vera Tucker going to the Patriots. The reason why I see this as underrated, it's not an overtly expensive contract. 3 years, $42 million is a somewhat big deal for an interior offensive lineman, but you're not breaking the bank. You needed to do whatever possible to improve your offensive line. It allows for you also to look ahead to the draft and look at the position that needs to be most boosted during the draft and who's on the board. Vera Tucker, to me, has been an unheralded guy because he's been on a bad team and he's also dealt with some injuries. Bad injury most recently. I believe it was an Achilles injury off the top of my head. I'm going to double check that in a second. But his impact is going to show as long as he can play at least 14 games this year, can play in the playoffs. That's how I'm looking at it with Elijah Vera Tucker. I love this tape when he was coming out of USC. He's super steady. He's super stout. They just need a ball player, man. They just need a ball player. And that's who Elijah Vera. He feels like a Vrabel offensive lineman who's going to clear some lanes and is going to protect Drake May.
Yeah, I like the addition. And since he's going out with the Jets, I was talking to Jets fans at work. It was like, yeah, now he's not going to miss another snap for the next 6 years. Like now that he's with the Patriots, he's not going to miss a snap. I went 1-2 last week, by the way. Suck boy. Western Michigan, I got it plus 10.5. They only lost by 8. So I'd like to make an amendment to me being 6-9 on the season opposed to 5-10. Do I need to go take over the math?
No, I will correct that.
Okay, just wanted to make sure. 0-3 felt off to me. I knew I lost
6-9.
6-9. Thank you very much. Not even going to request an apology. It would be nice.
Thoughts on Elijah Vera Tucker?
I won't request one, though.
You're not getting an apology.
I should.
You're not getting one.
I should. Elijah Vera Tucker is a good guard. He's all beef, and he's someone that's been all potential. When he's played, I've liked what he's done, but he's a when he's played type of guy. And the Jets losing him last year was catastrophic's a big word, but it was highly impactful to their offensive line and their success and keeping a quarterback upright and paving good running lanes, because I think that's what he's best at, is as a run blocker. I mean, his upper body is run blocker, upper body, maul you, lock on, and you got problems. And putting him onto the Patriots, like someone step in. Someone step in and don't let this happen. Like the whole success for Drake May or against Drake May was getting pressures, and now other teams are just like, yeah, go ahead, give him a guard, give him a really solid guard that hasn't tapped into his full potential, and let him go there and find some consistency and become like a premier guard for Drake May in that offense. It's a little sickening. I'm starting to get a little of this Patriots fatigue already about them getting better, making right decisions. And that's what it is. It's a right decision for them. I know the Jets like spent a bunch of money and added a bunch of players, but I would have tried a little harder to keep AVT on the Jets.
Who knows if it was if it was mostly like burnout on him not being available, and sometimes that
it could have been
fatigue of guys not being on the field.
And trust me, if he was still with the Jets, we could have seen a hammy pop up in September, and it would just be the same story.
You like Romeo Doubs, though? I don't know if I can get there.
I do. I think an underrated, keyword underrated move is the Patriots adding Romeo Doubs to their wide receiver room. I think he flies past Kayshon Boutte. I think he is a better wide receiver than Kyle Williams, and Stephon Diggs is gone now. He's not. Let me be clear. Romeo Doubs is not a wide receiver one. They need to find a wide receiver one. They need to draft a wide receiver one. They need a wide receiver one. But Romeo Doubs is a fantastic wide receiver two. He'd be the best wide receiver three if given the opportunity to have two receivers better than him on a team. But he is a fantastic.
I like how you're already pitching to you're already putting on him that he's going to get, because we'll just basically what happened within the Packers is that they just kept bringing in guys, and he worked his way down. He moved backwards down the depth chart. So you're already putting that on him.
He did, but
he's got no one ahead of him.
He was still the only guy on the Packers that could make a contested catch, and he did it in a Guardian cap, which I have to respect, even though I abhor the Guardian cap and the look and the aesthetic. But Romeo Doubs is a don't give an F guy, and it's obvious by his aesthetic that he's putting off with the Guardian cap as a wide receiver. They can't hit wide receivers anymore, Romeo. What are you doing? But nonetheless, contested catch king. He performed well with a good quarterback in Jordan Love. I expect that he'll perform well with a good quarterback in Drake May. It's just an addition that they needed to make. They needed to bolster. I hate the term bolster. They needed to add.
Bolster's a good word.
I know. I just feel like it's bolster season, and I'm trying to get out of bolster.
Okay.
They needed to add to that wide receiver room immensely, and Romeo Doubs is at least a very good first step to that.
Bolster's a good word, but you transition to add.
Yeah. I dumbed it down.
I guess
fortify.
I guess this is the show. As two idiots are the ones hosting this, it's probably better that we keep things dumbed down. Fortify would have been a good word. Fortify would have been a good.
I could have gone with fortify.
Maybe we should do a word of the day segment.
Love a word of the day segment. Is it random word of the day?
Yeah, I don't know how maybe we could guess what it means. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. Look, here's the thing with Doubs. That was awful mid-show planning.
Don't worry about it. Here's the word of the day. Chud.
All right,
there you
go. The thing with Doubs, you got to go get AJ Brown.
Yes.
If you're going to bring in Doubs, it has to be off of the belief, which it kind of feels like they're still aggressively trying to go get him based on every single rumor you see. If you get AJ Brown, this is a really solid wide receiver tandem, because realistically, AJ Brown takes over the role that Stephon Diggs had, and he's getting all the primary targets. He goes for 1,200 yards, and he gets back to his normal level of production with a quarterback who actually knows how to hit him, put the ball where it needs to be. And then Doubs gets to take advantage of all that extra attention on AJ Brown. And then if he's a 900-yard receiver at most, it's a good addition. I feel like Romeo Doubs is one of these guys, and why I don't like classifying him as an underrated signing is that the projection has always outweighed the performance. So
really, I have not seen a lot of people high on Romeo Doubs.
I feel like constantly it's like, man, I feel like this past year people started to let reality set in. But I almost feel like there's maybe a desire and a belief from knowing many Patriots fans in our lives that are incredibly rational that they could look at him and think, man, we don't need AJ Brown. We've got Romeo.
No, you need AJ.
Yeah.
You need AJ. You get Batman. You need to add Batman.